To you snooker fans. My name is Scott McCarter. I am joined by my two colleagues, Graham Drayton and Burton on Trent. Good evening, Graham.
Good evening, Scott. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well indeed. And good morning
Good.
to Mike in Vancouver in Canada.
Good morning, fellas. Nice to be with you again. Nice seeing you all.
Good to see
morning,
you.
Mike.
And we're joined by Fergal Quinn. Good evening, Fergal.
Good evening, Scott. How are you, lads? Good.
Very well, thank you.
Very well, Fergal. Thank you.
And Mike, I believe, has got the first question for you, Fergal. We're going to jump straight into things here. We're on a bit of a tight schedule, but
Perfect.
Mike's going to start us off.
All right. So who was your hero growing up, and why?
More in the recent times, probably it has to be Neil Robertson.
What?
All coming off of the back of the PTC event in Galway, maybe about 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago. And it was in the final. He played Ding Junhui. And he was 3-0 down in the final, and he actually came back to win 4-3. It was an unbelievable standard in that final.
Yeah, I remember that.
Anyway, it was Mother's Day that day as well, and after the final, me and my dad were just leaving out through the main doors, the exit doors, and Neil has come out through the back, and we bumped into him out in the street and just to say hello and commiserations and get a picture and stuff. And obviously my dad was telling him that I'm an aspiring player myself, and I think I might have been Irish under-14 champion at that time. And he took his runner-up medal out and handed it to me, and he said, use this as a motivation to one day get here yourself. So yeah, it has to be Neil Robertson.
Oh, very good. That's very interesting.
Yeah,
Excellent stuff.
Have you still got it, by the way?
Yeah, it's down in the kitchen somewhere, up in the mantelpiece.
Nice.
Excellent.
It's very nice. Silver, like a PTC silver medal.
Yeah. Yes, the old PTCs were a great thing for viewers because you could just watch endless snooker all day, every day.
Yeah. It's great now too. There's so many events on week after week, really, and so many opportunities now on the tour. So no, it's fantastic. Them old PTC days were great as well. I think it gave a lot of opportunities to amateurs as well because there's probably pre-qualifiers and stuff. But yeah, we're getting back to that even better now. So
nice.
Yeah. What's the lockdown been like for you with practice sessions and stuff? Has it affected it?
A little bit in the aspect of I've probably been over in England, obviously playing pro-ams and in the academy more so often in Q House Academy in Darlington, but it's still been great over here. Obviously I have a star table at home, so it's still been good to keep my arm going and then look at other aspects and a bit of reading and just trying to improve like mentally. Obviously there's no real competitions to test yourself, but I was going up to Antrim Sports Club still because we were able to practice under the elite sport recognition in Northern Ireland, so I was still able to practice with like Robbie McGuigan down there, and obviously you have Jordan Brown there, Mark Allen, and some other top amateurs there. So yeah, that's still been pretty good, yeah.
And we was talking before to like Jamie Barrett, Gareth Allen, who's been on here before as well. We was talking to them about Q School and what's it actually like, and they said it's an absolute graft in there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's just a nightmare. Really. you just want to get off to a good start and settle in, because if you don't, you just feel like you're fighting against all aspects. Because there's so many things obviously against you and against so many top players, you just want to be feeling good, thinking good thoughts and feeling confident. That's all you can really ask of yourself.
What was the experience like for you in there?
My first Q school 2 years ago. It was my first ever Q school just 2 years ago, and I reached the second last round in the third event, and that sort of came from nowhere really, because I wasn't really doing much on the amateur scene anyway. I was only 18, but to reach that final, the second last round in the third event, gave me a lot of experience and a lot of confidence to sort of kick on. But I just missed out against a young Chinese lad, Long Zihong, 4-2 to play by pinches to get on tour. But yeah, no, it was a very, very good experience, good memories from my first Q school.
And what was it like playing Fergal on Friday?
Yeah, no, it was an amazing buzz, a great experience, but just couldn't finish the frames off, unfortunately.
Yeah, you did all right, 6-3. Not a bad result, though, to be fair. It's not a bad achievement.
Yeah, yeah. The first 7 frames, as Fergal said in his interview, the first 7 frames could have gone either way. And unfortunately, even Neil Foles was saying, he said it 4 or 5 times, I think, like Fergal Quinn should be 4-0 up here at the interval. And he said that's a bit of a crazy statement to make because it was 3-1 down. But if anyone who'd watched the match, I should have at least had a lead after the first session. But no, Fergal finished off the frames really well, and that's the experience. The experience.
What's it like playing someone of Fergal's experience?
Yeah, I'm happy with how I was able to deal with the safety exchanges. I was able to create my own chances. I wasn't outmaneuvered or outplayed in any area, really, and that's the biggest struggle when you go into play someone like Fergal, because he can just tie you in knots and you just can't get a shot at any of the balls. But so I'm happy with how I dealt with those sort of things. It's just the inexperience really, and the end of frames and just really pushing over the line is what caught me out in the end. But yeah, it's only the start anyway, so hopefully take on.
It's a building block, isn't it, onto better
yeah,
things. What's your next sort of ambition for next season, say?
Well, hopefully to get through Q School, which is probably in 6 weeks or near the end of May, start of June. So hopefully get the Q School entry out and get in there and just hopefully get on this year onto the main tour. That's the main thing now.
I've got to ask about Jordan Brown winning the Welsh. That must have been a tremendous inspiration, because that it was a big story here in Northern Ireland. You'll know yourself.
Yeah.
Our sports pages were full of it for about 3 days. It was marvellous.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing, and especially the story and the background of the Jordan story, or where he was 5, 6, 7 years ago and where he is now. It just gave that major belief to all the lower ranked pros that if Jordan can do it, they can do it as well. And especially to myself and Robbie, the 2 Northern Irish juniors who look up to Jordan. It's it's give us a great boost all around on the sport in Northern Ireland.
As a Northern Irish fan, there was a lot of people that were saying to me, "Who is this fella?" But of course, in the snooker world, we've known about him for, he first turned pro in 2009, so we'd known about him for a long time. But it was just great to see him finally fulfill that potential that he's had for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. It's a major thing to go on ahead and actually win a ranking event. So he'll look back on that memory for the rest of his life, and hopefully there's a few more yet to come from him.
Yeah,
and I guess because of who it was as well, who he beat. I reckon in that final, I don't know how you felt about it with Jordan. 2 questions about it really. Would Jordan have won with fans been there, or would have added extra pressure to him? And also, do you feel Ronnie was under pressure because he was the massive favourite?
I think the crowd being there definitely would have added a massive different aspect to the whole thing. Obviously, the pressure and the support that comes with playing Ronnie O'Sullivan is just something that can't be replicated, really. But who's to say Jordan wouldn't have went out there, and with the confidence that he had from all the deciding frames that he came through the rest of the week, he could have just really stood up to it and probably would have been the same result. So it's just all on the day and how he felt, and he was the better player on the day. So. Yeah,
I thought he had a fantastic tournament as well.
Yeah,
sorry,
Ronnie had lost a couple of finals recently, so he probably that in the back of his head as well, and there was pressure on him. But yeah, it was a great result for Jordan in the end.
So you played in the shootout this year, is that right? How was that? That's an interesting.
Shaking. It's definitely a nerve-wracking experience, but it's unbelievable buzz. I know there's no crowd there. I can only imagine how good hopefully it'll be next year if I can get playing in it with the crowd. But it's just strange, because you just know you're going out there and anything can happen, and anything did happen in my match. But it's just I can't even describe how you just can't think. Your brain just goes like a 6-month-old child. You just see ball, and that's the only way I can describe it. There is no thought process there. You just
That's
You just
right,
have to
and
see
it's
what's in
crazy.
front of you.
And it's a crazy tournament as well, isn't it? Because anything can happen in a 10-minute frame, especially if
yeah.
you're playing like one of the big boys and you get a win out of it,
Yeah,
and then your
obviously,
ranking goes up a little bit.
It would have meant probably an awful lot for me to kick on and get interviews and all the things that would have come with me having overcome that match with Matthew. And obviously he's going in there much more relaxed and just enjoying it. But it's just another experience to add to the list, and hopefully it'll make you up to the player that hopefully become in the future. So.
Yeah.
So, what are your other interests outside of snooker? You must have lots of other interests besides snooker.
Yeah, well, over lockdown, I took into reading and just trying to learn. Obviously, there's so much information out there, like mentally, that could help you with snooker or just in life in general.
Yeah.
So I've been reading books on like Anthony Robbins and stuff, and just really trying to tap into all that information out there and just improve my overall mental strength.
Yeah, he's a very good writer. He's a great writer.
Yeah.
So, you're into what kind of music do you like? I know you're a music guy as well.
Yeah, just whatever's really in the charts. Really, I know a good song when I hear one.
Oh yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So you don't have an artist that you sort of go to, if you've got like a minute to relax or something, or you don't go, oh, I'll listen to him or her, or it's just whatever's out.
No, not really. Not really as much that. Just whatever's sort of in the charts. And as I said, when you hear a good song, obviously you love your nights out and stuff like that. But obviously it's just I can sing a little bit myself, so I put a bit over on Instagram over lockdown. It's just something to do, something else to put your energy in to pass the time. So I bought like a microphone and like speaker and stuff like that. But it's just more to pass the time. Obviously, snooker's the main goal. But if there's other things you can keep your interest in, take your mind off things, why not?
Do you play an instrument at all?
No.
Okay.
Just that, just as a bit of fun, as I said.
Have you decided what song you'll have playing when you walk out into the crucible? Have you got your go-to song yet?
The song's that song's probably not been released yet. It'll probably come out now. I'll know the one.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of great music still yet to come in the next couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I was going to ask, what's the main difference with playing on a star table, do you think?
Apart from the pockets being much tighter, it's much slidier and grippier. And especially there's a massive difference even between a normal star table and the World Snooker star tables. It's just so hard to just keep control of the white. And like if you seen my match, they were talking about that bottom right corner pocket, and it was just ridiculously tight.
Aye, nothing would go on for that pocket.
I could some of the balls that didn't go in, I genuinely couldn't believe it, and especially that black. It wasn't pressure or anything. I pulled the cue back, timed it pretty well, I thought, and just delivered the cue, and the black didn't go in. I'm just thinking, like, what has happened there? And you're just in sort of disbelief at the time. But yeah, down the reel and everything, just nothing was going in at any pace into that pocket. And I think if I maybe missed about 8 or 9 balls in the whole match, about 90% of them were into that pocket. And the commentators were talking about it a lot.
Wow, interesting.
Definitely. I've never seen the commentators talk so much about a single pocket in an event in my whole life.
Yeah, well, it's not just your match; it's been going on the whole qualifying tournament.
Yeah,
We've talked about it because it has been ridiculous. Can they do anything about it though?
I'm not sure they can, unless obviously they're changing the cloth. So if they're taking the pockets, I think maybe it's just for that table. If the set templates have already been made for that table and for that pocket, it's probably difficult to change the pocket without like misshapen it, or then it's being the wrong shape or the wrong size, and it just would maybe look different to the rest. But yeah, it's an odd one. I've never seen it happen before, and that black, I've probably never missed a black like that in my whole life when I was even probably 8. Never mind being age 21 now, but that's just those things happen sometimes.
I know.
Yeah. So you're obviously into your football as well because you play football. Who do you support?
Big Liverpool fan.
Okay.
I played in Ireland as well. Obviously, I played Gaelic football up until I was about 14, but I quit that after school, just more so. I think I took a couple of weeks off Gaelic one time. Then I think seen the snooker go up a few levels, so I was thinking I must pack the Gaelic in there if I want to put all my
Yeah.
snooker's basket and let that be the one sport to dedicate myself to, you know. But yeah, probably regret maybe quitting so early because obviously it's still so good for fitness and keeping in with your friends from school and just overall socially, it's very good and mentally as well. So
Yeah.
but yeah. So still play a bit for a bit of fun, but not competitively.
Yeah.
But
Fair enough.
snooker is the main focus for you right now. The number
Yeah.
one goal.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say I'm in the academy in Darlington most of the time. I've come home now for a week or so, but I fly back out on Thursday to prepare for Q school. So yeah.
What's that like? Good practice facilities over there. I've heard
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, it's unbelievable. You've 8-star tables as well, but it's more so the quality of players that they have based in the academy. Like you've the likes of Tapchai Anu, Liang Wanbo, Hossein, Igor, and Li Pi Fan, young Chinese player, and
Aye.
just Sohail Fahidi from Iran as well. You've just a lot of real good match players in that academy.
And of course, Igor Figueiredo could become the first South American to play at Sheffield.
Yeah, I'm good friends with Igor. I lived with him for a couple of months the last time he was up in Q House, and I'll see him every day. Obviously, when we're in practicing, and I practice with him quite a lot. And in practice, I've always said like if he played how he played in practice in a match, he'd easily be in the top 48 in the world, and that's a scary thought really where he is. But obviously, the financial pressures is the main thing, and coming over from Brazil, it's not easy. But he's really starting to show now what he can do on the big stage, you know. So hopefully the best for him. Hopefully gets that crucible dream with his.
Yeah. Absolutely. So if you had an Irish dollar or Canadian dollar, who would you put it on to win the Worlds this year? Who's your tip?
It's still hard to look past Judd Trump. I know he's been a bit shaky for the past couple of months, but he's been a winning machine for the last 2 years. So it'll still be hard to. It's still in over the long stretch in the crucible. It'll still be hard to break him down. It'll take someone playing incredible snooker probably to overcome him. So yeah, Judd Trump's still my pick this year.
I know that's a good shout.
Yeah.
So obviously you're going back over the top for Q school. So do you have any goals set for the next year or so? Any hopes, aspirations, goals for the next year or so?
Well, the biggest goal right now is just to get on the professional tour, because that's one of the hardest things to do is to get on there, because you're playing against so many older, experienced players or players who've just fallen off. So you really have to play well and just like really sort of strut your stuff around the table and just sort of try and dominate, because they'd walk all over you if you give them a chance, because they just use that experience to their advantage. But yeah, the main thing is just get on the tour as soon as I can, and then obviously stay on the tour into the top 64 after the first 2 seasons. And then after that, really, you're obviously looking at a ranking event or just getting real deep in tournaments. But obviously, we'll take it one step at a time.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Of course.
Then obviously making the Crucible next year.
Yeah, easy step.
Yeah, fantastic.
Why not? I mean,
yeah,
why not?
It's a big
Well,
change.
if you did, you would become the 10th player from Northern Ireland to get there. Actually, if you did make it.
Yeah, he said if you qualified, you become the 10th player from Northern Ireland to make it.
Oh, 10th player, yeah, that'd be a good number, a good round number for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it would be great. It would be an unbelievable feeling. Like, hopefully that's.
Well, of course, you know, you've learned a bit from the Fergal O'Brien game to take on to the next steps.
You can only keep improving if you're, as I say, surround myself with some of the best players in the world in Q House. You're only going to get better, and you're only going to keep improving. So, yeah, it's all good.
What do you make of Alan McManus's retirement?
Alan's still obviously at a very high level, so he would have obviously continue to win a lot of games, but I suppose he's just taken it upon himself to retire on his own words and his own, like, just whatever he wants to do. So he's happy with his decision. I suppose he wants to look more towards the media side of things now. Obviously he's unbelievable in the commentary box, and so yeah, that's probably his main focus now, and he's very, very good at it. So why not?
He's soup. He's the best. Right. He's the best player commentator we've ever had. You know,
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
Clive Everton did the stuff on the sort of journalistic side, but see, as
Yeah.
a player, Alan's the best player expert we've ever had.
Yeah, especially for those who play snooker at a high level or who know a lot about snooker, like yourselves, you can really understand what Alan's talking about sometimes. Where some of the people who just have a sort of a slight interest in snooker maybe wouldn't understand what he's talking about half the time, but as players and big fans, you can appreciate his knowledge for the game.
I was a bit sad personally to hear of his retirement because, you know, he's a favourite player of mine, obviously, like many thousands of others. So yeah, I was a little bit sad for that. But Mike made the point to me that Jimmy White continuing is a little bit more sad.
Yeah, probably, yeah. But it's what he wants to do. Really, you can't really begrudge him for that.
No.
He's given a lot to the sport, and he just wants to keep playing snooker at the end of the day, and that's what makes him happy. But obviously there's this other side of the coin, as us sort of top juniors who would love to do anything for that tour card, and obviously are entering Q School every year and investing, like, I've invested a lot of money into myself and into snooker, and that's what it takes just to keep improving and get to that level. But it's a big commitment. But yeah, that's why there's two sides to the coin of how you can look at it. But that's the only problem then with there being 128 players in the world, because it's like Jimmy's taking one of those spots then, you know, and it's like every spot near the bottom of the world rankings is so precious nearly for the top amateurs to try and squeeze on.
So how did snooker happen for you originally then? How did you think this is the life I want? You know, how did you first come over snooker or across it?
My dad was a top player when he was young, and he actually played Ken Doherty in a Northern Ireland sort of trophy event in back when he was like 19 or 20 or something. I think Ken was beating everyone 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, and he bumped into my dad in the quarters or the semis, and he beat my dad 3-2. And my dad said there was 6 visits and 5 frames. I think Ken had 2 centuries, and my dad had 90, I think 50 or something. But anyway, in the decider, my dad broke off and left Ken a long red, and he just dropped it and flicked off the pack, landed low in the black, and made 117 in the decider. And after that, my dad obviously thought that he wasn't at the level, but he never knew. Obviously, Ken would go on to be the player who he'd be. And my dad quit the game after that match and just went on to move to Australia after that match. So it's an interesting story, that one. But obviously there was no phones or anything back then, so we never knew. I think Ken went on to win the World Amateurs or the European Amateurs the next year.
The World Amateur in 1989 he did.
Yeah. So that would have been the year before that. So if he had sort of known those details, or knowing how obviously special a player Ken would come on to be, if my dad even had a quarter of the career Ken had, you'd have a very good career. So when he moved back to Ireland then, and we built a new house when I was about 7 or 8, then he bought a table and put it into the house. So yeah, and we just took it from there. It was mainly for himself to sort of relive old memories, but he into like a games room, and then he just started coaching me. And then I originally went down to PJ Nolan in Dublin, the Irish national coach, and he sort of took me to the next level, and that's when I sort of won a couple of Irish under-14 national titles down there, and that's when obviously I realised it's sort of not too bad at it, and that's what I want to do, really.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Fantastic. Nice story.
You did a great job. And I saw you on Friday playing, and then I looked you up and I thought, well, why not ask you to come on and join us?
Yeah, no, it's great being here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah. So, any other questions, fellas? Because we know Fergal's a busy man. So.
Yeah, yeah.
No worries. Thanks.
What's your favourite book?
Favorite book? Probably Anthony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within. I'm about halfway through it now. But I also read his book, Anthony Robbins' Money Mind, Master the Game, and even on investing and stocks and shares, like there's so much, or like with tax and everything, there's so much information out there to learn. So yeah, it's great.
Favourite beer brand?
Beer, I wouldn't be a massive fan of beer, but when I do drink beer, it'd probably be like Coors Light or something. Just something not too strong. Or Corona. Corona's nice too with a lime.
Yeah. Favourite movie?
I wouldn't say I have a massive favourite movie just sticking out, but I always enjoyed watching In Time with Justin Timberlake. They sort of had like a timer on their hand when their life was gonna run out, and they had to keep sort of working to make more time, and that's their money and everything they paid for, was taken off their time. So that was a good storyline.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for snooker, what was your other life profession that you wanted to do?
I'm not sure. I always sort of figured that I wouldn't really do your average sort of 9-to-5 job. So I think I probably would have started my own business in some sort of aspects, or I've always been pretty good at trying making money online and stuff, and so that's what I probably would have leaned towards, something like that, and found a way. As if you're determined enough, you'll always find a way, really. So
yeah.
Okay.
Excellent stuff.
Wow. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Fergal, for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for that, guys.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, Fergal.
No worries. No problem. Cheers.
And best of luck with all your other aspects of snooker, and we wish you well.
Thank you. Nice meeting you. See you later.
Yep. See you later.
Bye.
Have a good time. Bye.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
That was absolutely wonderful, guys.
Yeah, he was spot on. I like it. I like the new generation.
Yeah. A great little chat that was. So have you got any qualifying results, Mike, to go over before we go?
Yeah, I can quickly bring up the qualifying for you. Let's have a look here. There we go.
By the way, I should say we'll resume the finals on Wednesday. Mike and I will resume them. We'll finish off on Wednesday.
Yeah. Your man Ersenbacher, Mike, is 5-4 up against O'Donnell at the moment.
Okay. Stuart Bingham's just started. It's 0-0. Ersenbacher 5, Martin O'Donnell 4, as you just said.
Yeah.
And Zhao Gudong and Ian Burns have just started. Those are in progress. And then let's have a look down here. Do we see anything of...
Just
Luca
to say,
Bristol.
guys...
Luca Bristol.
Luca, yeah, your man as well, Luca. Just to say, guys, that don't forget Wednesday evening at 9 o'clock, because I'm not here for the 6 o'clock show. I think Mike and Scott are. But I'm not here for that. But 9 o'clock is my launch show. So don't forget that, 9 o'clock Wednesday night.
Yeah, make sure to tune in. Should be good.
Plenty of videos, plenty of package show to put together for you all. Hope you enjoy it as well.
And I warned Michael Hager tomorrow, we're going to get a few stinkers question-wise from Mike.
Yes, Mike. Do you want to explain that, Mike? You've got some questions for Mr. Hager.
Yeah, we'll talk because I know Scott likes his trivia, and I'm assuming Michael is the same. We'll just we'll steer away from the standard questions because we know both you guys know that. No, I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
And we can also talk about current events too. I would be interested to hear what he has to say about Mark Allen's comments and Judd Trump's comments earlier in the week as well. I mean, that should make for an interesting conversation as well. So, yeah. But Sam Craigie 6-0 over Vahey.
Wow.
Zhao Xintong 6-3 over one of Scott's favorites, Philip Payak.
No, that's oh no, it's Caper. Is it Caper Philip?
Casper Filipiak.
Yeah, that you asked me the other day, Mike, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll put him in as one of my boys."
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ali Carter 164.
Well, he should get through, shouldn't he?
Well, I think he might get to face us if Ursenbacher wins. I think it's Ursenbacher and Carter.
Yeah.
And Jordan Brown's shockingly lost 6-5 to Stephen Hallworth.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Stephen Hallworth 6, Jordan Brown 5.
It would have been nice to see Jordan in the Crucible, wouldn't it? It would have been nice.
Yes, because he got there last year, of course.
Yeah.
I think it would be silly not to mention the fact that Igor Figueiredo beat Chip Chire anew as well to make it to the Judgment Day.
Could you take us through the Judgment Day draw so far?
Ryan Day won, by the way, guys.
Yeah, I saw that.
He did.
I don't have the draw, Scott, to be honest with you.
No, well, go to Wikipedia, go down to the qualifying section.
I've got it, Scott.
Okay.
Good man.
So it's Hugh Long against Liam Highfield, Matthew Selt against Scott Donaldson, Robert Milkins against Kurt Mafflin, Lou Hoishon against Shang Bin-Yu, Graham Dott against Tan Ping Fei, Jamie Jones and Lee Hang, Mark Davis, Jamie Clark, Igor Figueiredo and Mark Joyce, Ryan Day against Ricky Walden, Bai Langning against Martin Gould, Zhao Xingtong against Sam Craig, and the others, Stephen Hallworth, Ali Carter, Luca Purcell, yet to find out who they play. But Hallworth could be playing Gary Wilson or Gerard Green.
Mm-hmm.
Ali Carter will be playing possibly Ursenbacher, it looks like. Stevens, Wakelin, Gudong, and Burns, all yet to play, yet to decide who's going through. And Brissell will play either Bingham or Sing Fan.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. That covers the whole qualify. Any shockers for you guys in today in that respect?
No. Well, Jordan Brown, apart from that.
Yeah, I was surprised by Igor Figueiredo beating Chip Chire, to be honest with you. I thought that was a shock.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Do you fancy his chances against Joyce?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's one of those guys who will be like a debutant qualifier, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't think Joyce has ever qualified.
No, he hasn't.
So we'll have a guaranteed one debutant then.
That is an interesting matchup, isn't it?
So, I mean, I don't know. That would be an interesting one. I don't know who. It's hard to pick a winner for me. Do you have one?
I would go Figueiredo.
Scott?
Yeah, probably. Who's Figueiredo play again? Sorry, I was distracted there for a moment.
Matt Joyce.
Matt Joyce.
Probably Figueiredo, actually.
So
I think we're all on Figueiredo there.
So it sounds like we'd have a new flag on the thing, Scott. You were talking about Filipiak. I guess we'd have the first Brazilian player to play there.
Yep, indeed, yes.
Are we putting Figueiredo as one of our boys, Mike?
Right.
We'll see.
By the way, we've had this from Dave Andam's Twitter in the last couple of hours.
Okay.
No official announcement yet about Saturday afternoon at the Crucible with
the funeral, yeah.
Yeah. But WST say they're discussing it with relevant parties. Most likely play will be delayed. Afternoon play will be delayed until after the Crucible, after the funeral, but morning session to go ahead as normal.
Oh, excellent.
There was a question the other day, Scott, about then they're going to be the wake and stuff. So will they cover the wake? So that'll take a little bit longer.
No, it'll just be buried. It'll be buried straight away.
And the wake will be in private, of course. But I think, okay. So
I think that was sarcastic, that was.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be an issue. But somebody was asking about it. So I think we don't think that's an issue.
No, but we'll keep you up to date if we get an official announcement.
Yeah.
Also tomorrow, Scott's going to post up the Judgment Day on our page. So if you're out somewhere or whatever, we can.
Well,
Facebook
Kelvin Platton's been in touch, and he says, "Cheers for the Scott. I'll be watching soon, but I've been at work all day, so he's at work most of the day tomorrow, Scott. So when he gets the results, he'll be able to see them on our page."
Yeah, and also run the live stream through our page too, correct? Like page?
Yes.
You can share it, yes.
Yeah, that's perfect. So we'll make
Yeah,
sure
we'll share it. That's right. So right then. So any other scores? Is Bingham Sing Fan?
Live
No,
score
Ursenbacher hasn't gone through yet by the scores.
still 5-4.
Yeah, Stevens and 0-0. Stevens has started against Wakeling. What do you think of that match, Scott? Wakeling and Stevens.
You probably have to give it to Chris.
Mr. Rosary himself.
Matthew Stevens. I take Matthew Stevens, I think.
Yeah.
Close.
It's a close match. I think it'll be a close one, but you expect Stevens to come through, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm still hoping your boy Ursenbach is going to come through there, Mike.
Yeah, I'm hoping on that as well. I'm cheering him on, and then I'm hoping he gives Ali Carter a good match. But
that will be an interesting one, won't it, against Carter?
Yep.
So, and that all starts tomorrow, Scott, doesn't it?
Yes, tomorrow 11 o'clock.
Okay, that'll be fine. Yeah, look forward to it.
All right. Any parting shots, fellas?
No, I think that's covered everything. Just want to say thank you to Fergal again for coming on. I thought that was an interesting conversation. And nice to meet the guy and nice to have a chat with him. So apart from that,
nice to hear someone with a broadly similar accent for once in my case.
Well, wait till we get Mark Allen on or Jordan Brown or something.
Yeah. Scott, any parting shots? Anything before you sign off?
Nothing really, just to say, as I say, we'll keep you up to date with any developments in the Duke of Edinburgh story, as it were.
Okay. And I would say, Scott, read up, because you're not allowed to use your almanac, of course, tomorrow with Mike's quiz, but make sure you do some revision, mate.
All right, fellas. We will be back tomorrow with
Mike, just one question. How nasty are these questions? Michael Hager, listen in to this. How nasty are these questions?
I will make these pockets really tight, okay?
Love it.
Forewarned is forearmed.
Top pockets are tight. All right, guys.
All right, fellas. Nice talking with you again. We'll see
Good
you
night.
tomorrow.
Look forward to tomorrow.
Cheers, boys. See you later.